Welcome to Something to Talk About.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to Something to Talk About.
Hi! Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and welcome to Sunday. Welcome to one of those update videos right before I put it out. I had a long live stream last night. My wife and daughter are out of town, and they're gonna come back here soon, and we're gonna do some Father's Day stuff. So before the Father's Day stuff, I wanted to get my update out. So also I wanted the video, the poll from today to cook a little bit. So here we are. It's like the smallest window to film. So yeah, let's go. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this week 15 Free Cities Dothraki Sea bracket. And it's a good one. It's a good one. My number one contender, mine, not yours. Yours is Arthur Dane, but mine is finally here. I've been waiting, and finally, 15 weeks in, he shows up. All right, what am I talking about? Pause this. This is what we're doing with this big, huge 128 character bracket. Read this if you don't know what I'm talking about. But for those who do, welcome back. So, yeah, Free Cities Dothraki Sea. So I originally had just Essos. What do I got? I got some on my shirt. All right. I originally just had Essos in one bracket, and then it was like two stacked. You know, like I had to break it up. So I'm really glad I did, because it gave me the ability to kind of bring in characters who, because it was pretty much just like Danny's team and like half of these guys, and I was like, no, I gotta break it up a little bit. So I'm glad I did, because it gave me a chance to bring in like Jack and Agar, Syrio Forrel, Raleigh Duckfield, who were in here. So this is what we got going on. So let's start off with our first one, which was Khal Drogo versus Syrio Forrel. Khal Drogo took it 67-33. Good job, Max, my man, Max. Syrio is obviously a great warrior, but he was picked as first sword of Bravos because he was able to see through the Sea Lord's trick. Yeah, you see the cat. That's just a cat. Test well, Drogo is Khal solely based on his martial prowess. Yes, correct. Syrio is probably the strongest fighter out of a city, while Drogo is probably the strongest fighter out of an entire race. So I think Drogo is much more likely to be the better warrior. You know, that's pretty good math there, Max. My only issue with Khal is we don't get to see him fight, but I learned when I did my my tournament last year, which was much smaller, way smaller, that Khal Drogo is a fan favorite. So even though we don't really get to see Khal fight too much, like I know that he was gonna make a run, and he did. Look at this, first round in. And then we had Grant Campbell said this is really a sledgehammer versus a chisel fight. Oh my god, right? Isn't it? And then Debunk Your Mind, Dr. Debunk said, can't outdance Khal. People forget how fast and agile Drogo is. He's not a brute, but he is brutal. Yeah, he's not. He's a really honest feet fighter. He's not weighed down by armor, which I think is a bit of a disadvantage. But you know, that sword might not do great against armor, but that sword is devastating if it can get through armor, right? Like the Aurak can just cleave you. It's a really, really scary sword, I think, at least in my opinion. So yeah, if he can outdance Syrio, which is weird because Syrio can outdance, Khal's gonna take him. I don't know if I can't remember who I had going into this, but I was happy with Khal Drogo. I think I had Syrio. I wanted Syrio to make a run, but again, the only problem was the same issue we had with Khal. We haven't seen him do too many fights. We only saw Syrio fight guardsmen with a wooden sword, and then he lost to an extremely really crappy fighter, which was Marin just their Trant, right? So, anyways, all right, fight two. We had a Raleigh Duckfield. Love Raleigh. I love Raleigh. He's one of the first characters I ever covered my Song of Ice and Fire lore series, and they're a reason. Rise, what's your name? Well, we're in a field. There's a Duckfield. That's my Lord Commander soon. He's not Lord Commander yet. Well, but yeah, so that's my guy, Raleigh Duckfield, versus Jack and Hagar. I thought it was really cool to put Jaqen in here, and he's another we don't really see him fight. He just assassinates, right? But one could assume he knows how to fight because he just murks people. He's got to be pretty good at what he does if he can just walk up to a trained fighter and be like, "You're dead." True, it's not a fair fight, no. But it was really cool to see Jaqen in here, and I'm glad he got a win. Poor Duck though. Jaqen was eating duck flambe that night, winning a 60 or 76-24. Shane said Jaqen is only killed people who weren't aware of him. In an actual fight, it would be a very different story. Yeah, true. Brody Day said, Sir Raleigh Duckfield is one of my favorite knights. I'm right with you, Brody Day. I forgot my name said, I think the fight is closer than most think. Most forget Rorge and Biter wouldn't dare mess with Jaqen. Had two people comparable to Brianna Tarth were quacking in their boots, I lean towards Daddy Duck, though. So he was like, hey, Jaqen's a bit of a fighter because Rorge and Biter were afraid of him. It's like, yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. Also, poor Raleigh. Raleigh, I'm assuming, is a really good fighter because he was picked to guard. Like, he was picked to be the guard of the group, like, out of all of the Golden Company, which there's I'm assuming, a lot of really good fighters and a lot of really good killers, and they pick Raleigh Duckfield to do it. Not only that, but you hear about him being, like, a really good fighter, and then when this crappy, like, lordling talks crap about him, he just, like, beats him down with a hammer. Like, the dude's beefy. But Duck ain't no dunk, so Duck is out. So here we go. Maelys just slaughtering John Con. Maelys takes John Con 88-12. Max goes that Jamie specifically asked the Blackfish Tales about Maelys and the Ebon Prince. So it seems like Maelys was an extremely renowned and accomplished warrior. He fought in the Golden Company for a long time and presumably racked up a lot of notable victories, like killing Ormond Baratheon. Yeah, right at the beginning of the Ninepenny Kings, the War of the Ninepenny Kings, he takes out Ormond Baratheon, who, I mean, we don't know too much about, but one would assume, since he's a Baratheon, he's probably a big old hunk of man. And Maelys, who's a big old hunk of 1.5 men, it's messed up, took him out. I wasn't done with Max yet. He would be the physically strongest character in Song of Ice and Fire as well. Yeah, we don't, we haven't, like, seen a World's Strongest Man competition or anything, but he's described like the Mountain and other people of being freakishly strong, like not okay. Like, how is he that strong? But the Mountain is described that way. And even Brienne's described that way. But I think that's more of strong for a lady. But yeah. So yeah, possibly one of the strongest men in Westeros. Just wait until the next fight, though. Because my guy who I've been waiting for, it wasn't Maelys. It wasn't in these guys yet. He's coming. All right. People know who he is. And then Brian Y. Sorry for calling you Brainy. Well, at least John Con can get the last laugh in the afterlife, knowing that even though he got his head ripped off, he touched Maelys with his infected hand, and the monsters will slowly die of grayscale. Yeah, he infected him, I bet. Even if you killed John Con, down the line, you'll probably be killed by John Con. John Con's got that. So they're both out. All right. I forgot my name said the Griffin is dropping dead just like that poor horse. Rest in peace, horse. Background horse 157. You will be missed. I said, hey, man, that was Tyrick Lannister. Show some respect. That's how I commented. All right, you guys ready? You ready for the entrance? This is Y2J, man. This is CM Punk, man. This is the... Right? Ready? Sandoq the Shadow destroys Kotho 96-4. And let me tell you, I paid a lot of attention to this fight. That was the biggest, like, margin there was. It was 99-1 for like half the day. And it slowly, Kotho fought and clawed his way to 4%. Okay. Sandoq's here and Sandoq's here to stay. Let's go. Bob Roberts said, if Sandoq doesn't win this bracket, I'm going to riot. Please don't riot. But I'm with you. I don't want you to riot. But if you do riot, I'll join you. But I don't want to. But I probably will. Diego P said, for the love of the 7 tacos, stop this. He's already dead. All right, that's my favorite comment. I think we got the whole bracket. I'm sorry, everybody does really good brackets, but I think Diego killed it because it just brought me right to that Simpson. Stop it, he's already dead. And when Diego did that, I think it was like 99 or 98, and it was just like, dude, call it. Gotho didn't even get his sword out. All right, let's do math here. The 8 or 9 people who voted Kotho, you just playing. Like, you gotta just be contrarians here. Or they never read Fire and Blood. I was actually really happy that Sandoq did as good as he did because I know that he's probably one of the most lesser known people in the bracket. Never made it into the show, not even in the main series of books, right? So you have to have read Fire and Blood completely because he shows up towards the end and he's only in a couple chapters. So you actually have to be a pretty big nerd to be like, yeah, Sandoq, duh. Or you see that he's winning 99 and you're like, Sandoq. And then you look at his wiki and you read the 2 paragraphs on it. And then you read what he did at that bridge, that night on the bridge. And you're like, okay, yeah, Sandoq. So, yeah, Sandoq. All right. Cyan Duck said it. Sandoq without question. Heck yeah. And then Irish Potato Thief said, normal men have fear. Fear has Sandoq. I like the idea of us just making like what's his name with the beard. How do I not have it? Everyone made those jokes. Everyone's freaking out right now. How could I not pull this guy? Chuck Norris. Everyone's yelling at the screen like it's Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris. I feel like we could make Sandoq the Shadow jokes like Chuck Norris. Like, you remember those old Chuck Norris jokes from back in the day? What does Chuck Norris have underneath his beard? Another fist. What does Sandoq the Shadow have underneath his big mask? Another Valyrian steel sword. Sandoq the Shadow doesn't do push-ups. He just moves the earth. Come on, we can do it. Let's have fun here. All right, Khal Drogo versus Jack, and here we are in the semifinals. We got Drogo beats Jack and Agar 69 to 31. Wow, good job, Khal Drogo. Max says that Drogo is undefeated warrior while Jaqen is a master assassin. I gotta go Drogo. Feel like that's what pushed a lot of people. Cyan Duck said, could Jaqen kill Drogo? Yes, but in a fair fight, no. And then I forgot my name said, the winner is sepsis. Oh, man. All right. And then our second semifinals, we have the Maelys the Monterious versus Sandoq the Shadow. I do have to say this is probably one of the best matchups we had in the entire bracket. And I didn't put it in round 1. You guys happy? The best fight in the bracket happened semifinals, not in round 1. Stop yelling at me about putting all my best fights in round 1. All right. Maelys the Monterious, 28%, Sandoq 72. This was when I realized that Sandoq actually is going to make the run he deserves, because the popularity of Maelys is like, oh no, Maelys is going to win. Not enough people know Sandoq. And this was almost a stomp. Like, 72 is pretty healthy victory. So after that, I was like, you know what? People are going to recognize Sandoq, and he's gonna go. He's going to run. Max says, I think this would be an amazing fight. Sandoq has the weapon advantage while Maelys has the armor advantage. They're around the same strength, so it comes down to who is the most skilled. See, even the guy who said that Maelys is probably the strongest guy in Westeros like 2 fights ago is like, yeah, but Sandoq's the same strength, right? So it comes down to who's more skilled, and I think that is Sandoq. I agree. So we know for certain that Sandoq was a skilled warrior. Well, we only presume that Maelys was skilled. Yeah. Aegor Bitter still says, I want to argue for King Maelys, but the Shadow is pretty great. Now, keep that in mind of who that came from. That's Aegor Bitterstill. He is the commenter who is the Blackfyre fanboy, right? I'm sure he had an entire identity crisis when Daemon Targaryen beat Daemon Blackfyre in the last round or the last bracket. I'm sure he needed to be calmed down. He needed to be hugged by his family, all those other Blackfyres. So if he's even like, if Mr. Blackfyre himself is even like, yeah, dude, Sandoq. That tells you something. All right. Lord Tyrannus Texas says, if Sandoq loses, there is no hope for humanity, as if there ever was. Anyways. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what Bob Roberts was saying. We riot, and you're like, there's no hope. There probably is no hope already, but there's no hope. Oh, man. All right, yeah, Sandoq moves on. And so he goes on to fight Khal Drogo. So I wanted to say, I brought up in the comments because somebody's like, so Sandoq just fights 16 people and we're like treating it like it's holy crap. And I brought up in the comments like, well, it was the fighting lions and bears and wolves and wyverns with no weapons by himself and only using the rocks and stuff like in the pit to kill. A naked guy with nothing but rocks in the sand murders a wyvern. And I was like, that's the beyond tipping point for me. That's where it's like, dude, this guy's insane. And Max very fairly said, you sure that isn't just some legend stuff? Like we didn't see it. It's just like, it happened. And that, Marine is forever away. Do we know that it actually happened? And you're right. You're right. We probably don't. I love it too much to ignore it. But yeah, if somebody goes, hey, I'm not putting that into my calculations, I'm going to say, okay, that's fair, because it's a lot more hearsay. I don't care. I love Sandoq. All right. Khal Drogo versus Sandoq, and Sandoq beats him 79. Is this a bigger fight? Yeah, even better than Maelys. So 70, that's so nuts. Yeah, good. 79-21. Sandoq beats him. And yeah, Taryn Texas says Sandoq, but more importantly, happy Father's Day to Taco and everyone else here. Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads watching. Thank you, Taryn. And then Basilius says Sandoq is cooking. Yeah, dude. Sandoq is cooking. Yeah, he's cooking. And then Diego P said, less than 1 hour in and it's already decided. Maelys was the only one of this bracket who really had a chance against Sandoq. And he even got somewhat stomped. Yeah. No, I knew once he made it past Maelys, I was like, Sandoq in the playoffs. Let's go. Oh, we're 1 week away from the playoffs, everybody. So I'm going to show you the playoffs bracket. And then we have this week, well, starting tomorrow, our Slaver's Bay, which there's a lot of really good fighters in Slaver's Bay. So don't be thinking it's over yet, okay? We got Jorah Mormont in there, right? We got Strong Belwas in there. We got Dario Naharis, Grey Worm. Let's go. There's a lot of really good fights left. And then the playoffs. So let's look at the playoffs. We got the Great John versus Mance Rayder right away. Arthur Dane versus Corn Halfhand. Jeez, man, these fights are fire. Smiling Knight versus Duncan Targaryen. Or Duncan Targaryen. Wow. Not Duncan the Small, Duncan the Tall. Victorian Greyjoy, he's not a Targaryen. Versus Two-Hand Jamie Lannister. Jamie Two-Hand Land. And then Oberyn Martell versus Garland Tyrell. And then Lynn Corbray, Robert Baratheon. Holy crap. That fight is fire. Brendan Tully versus Maegor the Cruel, and then finally Sandoq the Shadow versus the winner of Slaver's Bay. And yeah, I am beyond pumped. Look at this playoffs bracket. When your like worst fighter in the whole bracket is Garland Tyrell, you're doing pretty freaking good. What if he beats Oberyn? There's no way, right? All right. That's neither here nor there. I'm going to shut up, put this video out so you guys can see it. Thanks for everybody who showed up at the live stream yesterday. We did a Fathers of A Song of Ice and Fire tier list, and we got a lot of wishes for Happy Father's Day. And it was really cool to see everybody come join us as we looked at 37 different dads. Got to hang out with my buddy Soda. We got to hang out with both of the interesting nerds, Tom and Zach, and then Michael from Michael Talks About Stuff was there. And of course, Rust from Rust F. Shackleton. So yeah, it was good. It was a good day yesterday. And that's probably why I'm still hyped. I'm still hyped from last night. All right. Thank you guys. We got one more week, and then here come the playoffs. We've been doing this since the beginning of March. Pat yourselves on the back. Everybody who's voted on every single poll so far, you're amazing. And you warm my cold, dead heart. Thank you. Peace.